A few stock picks from the Barron's Roundtable are moving higher today, as is a pick from one of our own staffers. I'm Jack Otter, editor of Barrons.com, here with Jack Howe, a senior writer for the magazine. Jack, let's start with the Roundtable. That's kind of our big bread and butter. A lot of stocks moving, including a Scott Black pick, which yields 9.6%. But I'm going to make readers actually read the magazine to find that one. We're going to focus on Brian Rogers and Abby Joseph. Exactly, exactly. Get some value out of these things, you know. Anyway, Abby Joseph Cohen and Brian Rogers. Let's start with Abby. It's an interesting niche player. Never heard of this company, Accuity, but it makes something we'll
Who are you calling Accuity?
Oh.
LED lighting, right? Have you done the analysis at home about replacing incandescent bulbs with LED bulbs? You have to pay a lot more for the LED bulbs, but they last forever, and your electricity bill is a lot lower.
Our electrical system is such a mess that our lights blow out all the time, so it's cheaper for me to stick with the cheapos. But
for this company, they sell both kinds of lightings, and the traditional bulbs, that business is in decline, but what has happened is the LED business, first of all, it's growing very quickly, and second, it has now become a large enough part of the business. I think 42% at last count. A large enough part where it's driving the overall pie larger, even as traditional lighting is declining. So, and there are much better profit margins on these LED bulbs, as you might imagine, with those high prices. So this is a company that looks to have some good growth ahead of it.
They're far more efficient. Apparently with a regular old bulb, it's mostly heat.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of light as a byproduct, but it's really a heater, which we could use in the studio, in fact. Let's move on to Brian Rogers, chairman of T. Rowe Price. He has chosen a great, big, fat, old line energy company, oil company.
Yes.
Why would you buy that now, Jack?
I guess if you think you know, that you want to do some bottom fishing in the oil patch here, who knows if the bottom is in, but if it is, or if we're close, you could do worse than to buy a company like this. Hess, which has already been on this path of getting rid of assets that they think are underperforming or that they just don't need anymore. And they've sold some of them at really attractive prices. They had sold some Russian assets a couple of years ago at probably more than double what they could get for the same.
They got $2 billion. It's worth about $1 billion a day. Nice sale.
Right. So
we should point out that some of this was prodded by activist investors.
Right. So this is already a company that's been getting leaner, and they've been doing a better job with you know, sending some capital shareholders' way. They've been going after share repurchases, boosting the dividends. So, you know, if you're looking to bottom fish, this is probably a good stock for you to look at, because they've already been doing some of the things that energy companies may now have to do going forward. One
more, David Englander, our small cap guru on staff, likes shares of Remy, which is a spinoff. I always like spinoffs that management gets focused when it's their own ship.
And I like the name Remy because it reminds me of Ratatouille, the movie with the French chef where it's pronounced Remy.
Do you think we have kids?
we do. This is a car...
Not together, by the way. Just
Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure.
So this is a company that makes car parts, alternators, starters, and you know, we've got a booming car business here in the U.S., but the business is lousy in Europe. And what I like about a lot of car companies right now is, you know, they are prosperous, but it could get a lot better if we just see Europe and some of these other markets come off of really depressed levels. So you've got this other leg up once that recovery eventually gets going. And meanwhile, they can sell a lot here in the U.S., and this is a stock that looks inexpensive.
And a plummeting euro got to be good for those European car makers.
Hopefully.
I'm looking to pick up a Mercedes for about 10 grand, and if this keeps going.
All right, well, you get the word out there now.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks.